Yellowstone has exploded. It's one of the most popular shows on TV. I watch it with my fiance, and we absolutely love it. I mean, we hinge on every moment. We talk about it the whole time. Like it's just such a great show. It's like a community show. So I'm curious for you, like, what has it been like to witness the growth of Yellowstone into becoming what it is now?
It's incredible, man. And it's stuff like that. It's stuff like you just said, you watch it with your fiance. That's an incredible honor. Like there's so many families that watch it together. There's so many communities of friends that watch it together. That's a real gift. Like it really feels like an honor to be a small little part of the lives of all of these families and little micro communities that have sprung up around the show. So I love it. It's amazing. To be honest, it's silly to say, or perhaps obvious to say, but it rocks. It feels great. It feels so cool to be on a show that people really like. That's an amazing feeling.
Oh, for sure. So Jimmy started off season 4 in pretty rough shape. And I would say argue the worst of his life, just from watching the show, but Dutton sends him off to become a cowboy, which stirs a big amount of emotions for him, particularly with Jimmy and Mia. So, as he basically has to choose, between staying, with her and going to 4-6s. So I'm curious for you, like, why do you think Jimmy chose that route over, kind of the easier route, staying with Mia and kind of working it out there?
Well, it's an incredibly difficult decision, I would say. And it's not really clear what the easier route is. Basically, he's being asked to choose between his job and his girlfriend, which is a heartbreaking scenario that a lot of people face in their lives. Hey, you got a great new job. It's 5 states away, 2 time zones away. Are we going to try to make this work? I think that's an incredibly difficult situation that people find themselves in all the time. The experience of being an actor often means getting on a plane and flying 2 time zones, 3 time zones away from everybody you love, So I found it a very relatable, difficult sort of moment for Jimmy. And I think to a certain extent, Mia made an ultimatum. She said, if you go to Texas, it's over. And I don't think Jimmy actually felt like he had a choice. He owed John Dutton, hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical bills, in addition to having seen anybody who wears the brand and betrays the Yellowstone being killed over the course of 4 seasons.
The brand is a good incentive right there. The brand
it really is. Once you've seen Rip, shake somebody around, you're not very likely to go back on your employment contract at the Dutton Ranch. So, I don't think Jimmy really felt like he had a choice. I think he feels like Mia made the choice when she made that ultimatum.
Yeah. So Jimmy, he kind of started off Yellowstone as kind of like this, kind of troublemaking, aloof kind of guy. It's kind of almost like comic relief to a point, but you've evolved. Jimmy has evolved from season to season and has become, again, at least for me and my fiance, the fan favorite. Like Jimmy, I feel like he has had the most complete arc of any character on the show, which I never expected. And I think a lot of people didn't expect it. So I'm curious, like how much did you know in terms of where Jimmy's path was going, or was it kind of a season to season cliffhanger for you as well?
It's been a series of cliffhangers for me. There's been a couple times that I've read a script that ended with, Jimmy lies face down in the dirt, motionless. And making any art, making any sort of creative project is a real exercise in trust. You're putting a lot of trust in your collaborators. In our case, we're all putting a lot of trust in Taylor Sheridan. And he has lived up to and exceeded our trust over and over and over again. So he's a brilliant, brilliant writer. I learned a long time ago, pretty early on, that trying to guess what he's going to do next is a futile exercise, because what he comes up with is so much richer, so much fuller, so much more interesting and curious than anything I could have guessed. And he's kind of kept surprising me over the course of the last 4 years. So it's been an incredible journey just trying to keep up with what Taylor writes. And I think a lot of us are in that position of putting all this trust in Taylor because he's incredible. He's one of the best writers, I think, in the history of television or film. I think he's really amazing. And it's our job to sort of just try to hold on to this incredible bucking bronco that is his imagination. And I've felt really lucky that it's brought Jimmy up to this point, but I also don't labor under any delusions that Jimmy's future is certain or secure in any way. because that's the West, that's life, that's the brutal, the brutal world of Yellowstone. Nothing is certain. And so I'm trying to hold on a few more days. We'll see. That's all you can do. All you can do is try to hold on to the horse that's right in front of you,
Well, talking about Jimmy's future. So, in season 4, Jimmy finds new love. He finds new purpose, becomes a bona fide cowboy. And many have said that Yellowstone season 4 was secretly the backdoor pilot for a 4/6 show. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that as far as Jimmy's future in that reign?
I wish I knew, I really can only reiterate that, like, I want to go wherever Taylor wants me to go. I want to go wherever the show needs me to go. In many ways, Jefferson, feel like Jimmy, which is, tell me where to go, boss. Yeah. Taylor has given me the best job I've ever had in my life. Paramount has given me the best job I've ever had in my life. Wherever they need me, I'll go. If they don't need me, I'll say, thank you so much for the time. It's been an incredible gift. If they need me, I'll say, thank you so much for the time. I'll be way more excited. So, I hope I get to keep working on this show for a long time. I hope I get to keep working in this world for a long time, and we'll find out together,
Well, from my perspective, we need Jimmy. So if my vote counts in any way, Jimmy is needed. Paramount, anybody that's listening, you're watching this interview, Jimmy is needed.
Yeah, go ahead and put that in writing and just mail it. Let's just start mailing that in. I don't know exactly where to mail it to. Maybe just mail it to the Sixes. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
So Jimmy, you have some almost like fatherly like scenes with John Dutton in season 4, and what is it like working with Kevin Costner on scenes like that? Where it's just you and him. Just you and him in one scene. Does his legacy ever add any stress to those more personal scenes? Like, what is that? Talk to me about that experience working with Costner on those one-on-ones.
It does. Who Kevin is, he's both an incredibly present actor who's with you in that exact moment, in that exact room. He's right in front of you. He's incredibly present, which is like all you can hope for in a scene partner. But he's also a legend. He's also a sort of modern myth. And the good thing is that is also true of John Dutton. John Dutton is with you in the room. He's going to saddle the horse. He's going to sweep the stables, but he's also a myth. He's also a legend in the world of the show. So my relationship to Kevin is pretty similar to Jimmy's relationship to John Dutton. He reveres this person. He's known about this person his whole life, even before he met him. And so my task as an actor there is to sort of take those real world circumstances and allow them, not try to fight them off or, keep them out, but allow them to color the scene, because I'm intimidated by Kevin the same way that Jimmy's intimidated by John. So all of that just flavors those scenes and makes them hopefully feel that much more authentic and sort of lived in,
Yeah. I'm intimidated for Jimmy when I see Kevin Costner in the scene with John Dutton. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a rough one.
I know. It usually doesn't go well for Jimmy. Usually anytime you're talking to the boss, you worry something's wrong. Anytime Taylor calls me over, I'm like, oh, that's it. I did it. I finally blew it. But it's also, I'm so lucky because I get that not just with Kevin, but I also get that in these scenes with Cole Hauser, who's an incredible actor. I get that in these scenes with Forey J. Smith. There's so many amazing actors and cowboys on our set that I get to learn from. And so I really think of it as my job just to stay open to that learning, to stay sort of receptive to that learning. Because in this world, in both acting and in the Western world, the world of horsemanship, as soon as you think you know it all, you're wrong and you're done and you're limiting yourself. There's so many people on set that I'm learning from every day. So many experts on our set of a million different fields. You got Kevin Costner. Forey J. Smith rodeoed his entire life. Forey J. Smith has dozens of belt buckles from rodeo events. He's an incredible rodeo cowboy. And also our crew. We also have the most talented crew in the world. Our camera operators, our DPs, our directors, our sound operators, like our costume designers. There are so many brilliant artists to learn from on our set that I really think of it as my job just to stay open to all that learning and just allow myself to be, a student.
Jimmy, lastly, you're also the host of the Yellowstone podcast. How did that happen, and what's the future of that? Is that going to continue?
That's been an amazing gift too. Talk about learning. That's an opportunity to sit down with Mo Brings Plenty and talk to him about his experience of the show. It's an opportunity to sit down with Jake Ream, with Forey J. Smith, with Ryan Bingham, with these people who I admire so much, and really learn about where they come from, what they're bringing to the show, learn about their authentic experience with the sort of West, with cattle ranching, with rodeoing. So that's been an incredible gift. And, you know, like Yellowstone, I never know what's going on. I don't know what happens next. I just go where they tell me to. I get on a plane, I go where they tell me to, and I'm grateful to be there. So if we get to do more of that, that'll be awesome. It's been the sort of reception to it has been incredibly heartwarming. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's the official Yellowstone podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you get your podcast. And it's a sort of companion piece to the show. It's an opportunity to learn more about the artists that work on the show. And that's fascinating. It's fascinating to hear about Forey J. Smith's early life in the rodeo, Ryan Bingham's early life in the rodeo, how Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser approach the day-to-day work of creating Beth and Rip. You know, those conversations are once in a lifetime opportunities for me to learn from those actors. And I think that they're a really interesting podcast if you're a fan of Yellowstone.
Jimmy, thank you so much. It's truly been an honor to talk to you. I love the show. I love your character. It's just so good. I need more Yellowstone. I can't believe how long I have to wait for Yellowstone season 5. Like, it needs to get here like ASAP. So
thanks, man.
I love it.
Appreciate it.